Alright guys, what's up? It's Lewis Tech here. Welcome back to the video, and today I will be teaching you everything that you need to know about the PS5 and its upcoming release. Everything about it, all the specs, all the design choices, everything that you need to know about the PS5 will be in this video today. So let's get started. So first of all, we have the design. There's a lot of controversial topics about the design. Some people really hate it and some people like it. I'm one of the few who love it. I absolutely love the PS5 design. I think it's fantastic. I love the futuristic design, and I gotta be honest, I don't really care for the Xbox design. In terms of design, I really don't think Xbox is trying at all because I don't know. I'm not a fan of the just plain box. It's kind of boring. But this makes me a little excited. This gives me hype. I'm excited to use this. If you got this fancy thing on your shelf, I would be excited to use it, wouldn't you? But then you got this big black box. I wouldn't want to be super excited to use it. But this makes me super excited to use the console. But I really do like the design. Now I do have to say the digital only version is a little bit better in terms of design because it's missing the optical drive. So it's symmetrical, which I definitely do like the symmetrical part, but I do like the design. I do like the PS5 in terms of design. Some people don't like the fact that it's white. See, I actually kind of do like the white, but if it does come in black, I would like the black better, but I do like the white. It's not that I hate the white, but I would rather have black. So I'm sure they're going to have blacks at some point. I'm sure they're going to have a black PS5. And if they don't, that's kind of a mistake on them because a lot of people would much rather have black. So yeah, that's the design. And I like also that all the accessories such as the controllers and the headphones, the meter remote, the camera, they all meet that white and black design, which I really do think fits well and it's a really nice touch. Also, I do like that the blue lights are shining on the PS5, at the top of the PS5. I think that's cool, and I think it's going down a little bit ways too. But I do like the PS5 lights, and that's a nice touch too. As I said earlier, there are going to be two models of the PS5. There's going to be the PS5 All Digital Edition and the PS5 with the optical disc drive. I personally think that the digital only is going to sell more. Because nowadays, discs, if you're buying a new game, discs are pretty much starting to die down. No one's really getting this much. You got an online store, and it's gonna be much cheaper, probably at least $50 cheaper. So the really only benefit of having the drive is you can play your Blu-ray movies, you can play your PS4 games. I will talk about that a little bit later. It's backwards compatibility with PS4. You can play PS4 games, and if you want, you can buy games too if your internet is pretty slow. But after that, really, discs are kind of useless. So I think the normal PS5 All Digital Edition will be a much more selling product and more preferable by many people. So some of the ports that are on the actual console itself, they have a USB-A port in the front and USB-C. As well as they have two buttons, a power button and an eject button. Although on the old digital edition, you don't have an eject button, of course, because you don't have a disk drive. So the controller. Let's talk about the controller a little bit here. The controller, I have to say, I absolutely love the controller too. So far, PS5, everything about it, it's growing on me. I'm a fan of everything they're doing so far. And I gotta say, I'm really not a fan of the Xbox so far. Now, in terms of controller, Xbox hasn't said much, but, they might have some other features that they're waiting to announce later. But if they don't, the PS5 controller is probably it's probably the best controller that has ever been made. It looks the best. They claim to have all these great features, and if these features actually work, and they're actually as good as they claim, this will probably be the best controller. I love the look and the features that it comes with. So far, it's looking pretty good for the PS5. So some of the features that the PS5 controller will have is it will have a new haptic feedback engine. So one thing too, they instead of calling the PS5 controller the DualShock 5, they call it the DualSense because of a lot of these features. So it has a very, very realistic haptic engine. So many of you may already know what a haptic engine is because a lot of new phones nowadays have really great haptic engines, such as the iPhone, where you click a button, where you tap on a button, but it feels like a physical button because it has this vibration to it. So haptic feedback will be in the PS5 controller. They claim that you will be able to feel the difference between sand and roads. So that would be cool to test out. I think that would be really fun to see. They also have adaptive triggers. So adaptive triggers is really good, especially for racing games and shooting games. So what adaptive triggers is that these triggers can add tension to when you're pushing them. So say you're pulling back a bow in Horizon Zero Dawn or something like that. As you pull back, it will get harder. The buttons can get harder to press, and they can feel different to the press. So if you're in a racing game, as you accelerate, it might be harder to push down the trigger. If you're shooting a gun, it may be harder to use. So that's the adaptive triggers. The PS5 controller also has a motion sensor in it, which is nothing really special because the PS4 also had the motion sensor built in. But so yeah, we still do have the PS5 motion sensor in the PS5 controller. The PS5 also has a USB-C port into it, so you can charge your controllers a lot faster now and much better than you can with the micro USB you were supposed to charge with on the PS4. So yeah, USB Type-C port, pretty nice addition. That also took away the light bar on the back. Now we just have the light bar in the front. And it also has a built-in microphone, which means now you don't have to have a mic on your headset, or you don't have to have a headset to talk with your players. You can just talk into your controller, and your controller will be picking up your voice. So that's another pretty nice feature for the controller. Alright, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the PS5 accessories that have been released and announced already. So first of all, we have the DualSense controller charger stand. So this stand fits the cool design of the PS5, and it holds two controllers to charge at the same time. We also have a HD camera that has two lenses, which also reveals maybe that we're gonna get a PSVR 2, which already have leaks of patents, and some maybe 3D features. So we have an HD camera that also is announced. We also have a Pulse 3D wireless headset. This is PlayStation's best way to immerse yourself in 3D audio, and they also have a media remote. So for people who also are going to be using this as their Blu-ray player and their media device, not just for gaming, it's their all-in-one entertainment system, there's a media remote to go with that. They also have 4 buttons on the media remote, which look like they may be programmable to any streaming service that you might like to use. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the specs here. So this list is going to be a little confusing and long. It's going to be very impressive, the PS5 specs. So this is actually a picture of some details on the official PS5 website, the PlayStation website. You can go check that out yourself. But here are some of the specs. The specs, first of all, the processor. This processor that is going to be in the PS5 is an AMD processor that is it's one of the best processors that you can get right now, and it's some crazy stuff. Better than a lot of PCs. So this processor is going to handle a lot. The graphics is going to be an AMD Navi architecture that's going to be on the processor. And this is such good technology that this AMD Navi graphics isn't even out yet. It's not on PC. No one can get it. So it's going to be first in the PS5, which is crazy stuff right there. So we have some next level graphics that's not even out yet, which is pretty insane. For some resolution and frame rates, we can get up to native 4K 60. So native, you're going to have 4K, and then you're going to have 60 FPS. Now if you don't have a 4K TV, well then it's going to put the best output it can, but 60 FPS. you can go up to 4K 120, which is already insane, which is already PC level, and 8K output. So you'll probably get low frame rates, somewhere around 30, maybe a little bit less, but you can get 8K resolution out of games, which is pretty insane. They revealed a little bit of that feature with the Unreal Engine 5, but 8K, I mean, it's just nuts. And they also have RTX in their graphics card, which is ray tracing. So playing in ray tracing is going to have real life shadows, make everything realistic lighting. It's going to be a lot more immersive, and every single game that you know right now is going to look 10 times better. They also have a 3D audio chip, I believe, in there. Something about 3D audio, and that also goes with the Pulse 3D headset. So if you have a 3D audio compatible headset, you'll be able to get 3D audio out of the PS5, as well as an SSD, a brand new SSD, ultra high speed, one of the best SSDs you can get on the market. Now here are some crazy specs about this SSD. This SSD can go up to 9 gigabytes per second. That is nuts. That is literally nuts. That means basically if you have a 100 gigabyte game, you want to update it somewhat. If you have a 100 gigabyte game, you can load that in 10 seconds. That's nuts. Loading 100 gigabytes in 10 seconds. 9 gigabytes per second is crazy. Now to put this in perspective, the PS5 hard drive does 50 megabits per second. So this PS5 SSD is 180 times better than the PS4. Now, what does this mean? Fine, faster loading times, but this also means that loading screens on your games, gone. Spider-Man, you know, the notorious loading screens where you have to go through the metro, all that stuff, because the hard drive can't keep up. Not a thing anymore. You could probably you go and you go to the next city and just like that, 3 seconds. This SSD is nuts. 9 gigabytes per second is crazy. So all these games now, loading screens, everything about that is going to change how gameplay works. Now that we also have an SSD, this can make our gameplay worlds a lot bigger. You can make a game a lot longer. Say you got GTA 5, right? The world, the map is limited. GTA 6, if ever comes out on the PS5, is going to be so much larger, so much bigger, much more to explore because the SSD can handle a lot more. They also showed off Ratchet and Clank, which is a new PS5 exclusive, where one of the game mechanics is rifting between worlds, and there's no loading screen. You want to go to another world, you just rift to it immediately. You're in a whole new asset. That SSD is insane speed right there. So like I said near the very beginning, the PS5 disk drive version is going to be PS4 backwards compatible. So if you want to play your games on PS4, don't want to buy new ones, and you want to play them on your PS5, you can. And it's also going to upscale the resolution and the graphics, so you can play your games better than you can on your PS4. So also on the PS5 announcement, they showed a lot of games, and one of my favorite games I'm hyped for is Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7 is a new Gran Turismo game, and as we all know, Gran Turismo is very well known for its great graphics. So ray tracing is going to come in handy here, and it's gonna make Gran Turismo look amazing, super realistic, super cool. So Gran Turismo is gonna really show how the PS5 handles. So yeah, guys, that is the PS5. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Now here at the end, if you stuck around, I have a little sneak peek. Unless you haven't seen it, this is the PS5 startup screen. I'll play it right here. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and goodbye.